Have you been thinking that you'd love to have a fully remote job moving forward? Well, if this is you, I have some helpful tips in this video on how to find a remote job in 2021 and beyond, especially if you're an experienced professional. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Danielle and I'm a career coach and mentor for experienced professionals who want to build a thriving career in their 40s and beyond. And if you're committed to creating your thriving career, your dream career, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I publish brand new videos each and every week. So let's talk about how to get a remote job in 2021 or later if you're watching this video later. And the good news is that there are more and more remote work opportunities out there. I guess we have the pandemic to thank for that one. And the other news, though, is that there is more competition for it. Working from home has a certain cachet nowadays, and it is sought after in a lot of different fields. And so if you want to get a remote job, you want to make sure that you are set up to win, that you are competitive against other candidates. Number one is you want to be clear on your priorities. It's so important to start with clarity. The clearer you can be on what you want, the better the chances are of you getting exactly that. So before you start looking for a remote job, you want to get really, really clear on what you want out of your career at this stage of your life. So in a minute, I will talk specifically on how you can get a remote job, but you want to definitely answer a couple of questions for yourself before you set out on that job search. And number one is ask yourself exactly what type of role you're looking for, what type of culture, company you're looking for. And number two, you want to be clear on the stage that you're at in your career. For example, are you in a place where you still want to continue to climb the corporate ladder? And then you need to evaluate if a remote job is going to help you do that. Sometimes it might, and sometimes it might actually hinder. There are situations in certain companies and roles where if you are working remotely and you have colleagues that are in the office quite often, it can create a bit of an inequality. And I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying that can be a reality, and it's just something that you need to think about before you go about finding a remote job to see what stage of your career you're at and how getting a remote job is going to play into that. Number two is you want to be confident in your value proposition. Your experience is valuable, right? You bring so much to the table as an experienced worker, and having the confidence to be able to showcase your skills and your experience and the value that you bring to the table is going to be very important for a remote role. You want to be in that position where you know exactly the problems that you solve for your desired employer, for your desired role, and you want to be able to showcase that with confidence through every step of the interview process, every step of the job search process, actually, including your marketing documents, your resume, your cover letters, your LinkedIn profile. All of these need to be designed to showcase the value that you bring in a confident way. Soft skills are highly sought after in remote positions. Things like being a self-starter, being able to show initiative, being proactive and disciplined and organized. Those are so important for any role, but more specifically for a remote job. And those are things that hiring managers are going to be looking for when they're considering different candidates. And you also want to have amazing communication skills. And my view on that is that you can never over communicate, especially when you work remotely. It is hard to stay on top of everything and to make sure that everyone is aware of the priorities that you're working on. So that is really important. The other one is you want to be adaptable to constant change. It is a factor right now. Change is the name of the game. And no matter what your age, if you're able to show that you can adapt very quickly to change, it's going to give you an edge, especially for a remote role. The other one is all things tech and technical and digital. You need to be self-sufficient when you work remotely. There is no IT or tech support that can help you at home. Sometimes they can help you remotely, but if you're relying on that all the time, that is not going to be too productive. So you want to be strong in this area. And if this is not an area of strength for you and you're committed to finding a remote job, then take some training. There is so much that's available to us online. And it's so important that you master tools like Zoom, Google Drive, Dropbox, Teams. All of these are going to make you more marketable for remote work. And the nice thing is the more of this you do, the easier it gets to learn new technologies. And of course, the hot ones are always changing. So this is where being adaptable and being or becoming tech savvy is so important here. This brings us to number 3, be open. So even with the pandemic that's opened up a lot more remote job opportunities, you want to stay open to the different things that might come your way. It's kind of weird how when we get clear on what we want, sometimes things might present themselves in a way that we may not recognize it right away. This can come in the form of an opportunity for a company, maybe a smaller company or a lesser known company that maybe you wouldn't have considered of before, you wouldn't have thought about before. But what I'm recommending is that you stay open to opportunities that may present themselves because they may be your perfect opportunity to secure a remote job. So tell me, are you hoping to find a remote job at this stage in your career? Why or why not? Tell me in the comments below this video. So number 4 is be purposeful. This comes in 2 parts. Part number 1 is network. I know you probably have heard this, but I have to tell you, this is the number 1 way that you can find a remote job. A lot of times those jobs are not advertised because they're desired right now. A lot of people are looking for this, and by posting them online on job sites, companies are getting hundreds of applicants, and it becomes very difficult to deal with that influx of applications. So a lot of times those remote jobs are not necessarily advertised. So you want to network, and best way to do that is through LinkedIn. It makes it very easy to stay in touch with professionals in your network. You want to develop relationships with recruiters. We used to call them headhunters. They're now called recruiters, search firms, agencies, and oftentimes they are aware of remote job opportunities. They're actively looking for people to fill those roles. And so it's important to nurture and develop your network and specifically build relationships with recruiters. And when they get to know you and they understand the value that you bring to the table and the wealth of experience that you have, when you let them know that you're looking for a remote opportunity, they will keep that in mind when different opportunities come across their desk, and they'll be more likely to contact you about those opportunities that are actually in what we call the hidden job market. Those are jobs that are not advertised anywhere that recruiters may be working on. And if they know that you're looking for something remote, like I said, they will be more likely to contact you. So part 2 is you want to actively put a job search together. So combined with the networking in part 1, putting together an active job search can be effective. So you want to set yourself up on LinkedIn and actively pursue opportunities there. There are other job boards depending on where you are. And there's also job boards that are specializing now in remote work opportunities. Sites like remote.go would be a good one, and I'm sure there's plenty of those out there, but you want to set up some alerts for yourself so that you'll be notified when there are opportunities posted that you may be qualified for. So that's what I have for you today. Now, whether you're looking for a remote job or a traditional office role, Your resume needs to really stand out if you are going to be considered for those opportunities. And I have a free resource to share with you. It's called the Resume Booster. If you're not getting interviews right now, chances are the problem starts with your resume. And in the free Resume Booster, I share with you why your resume is failing you and 4 steps to quickly fix it. You can download that at coachwithdanielle.com/boost. And be sure to check my next video here, which is resume advice for 40 plus, where I help you really hone in on what you need to have in your resume if you are in your 40s and beyond. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week.